Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. So, review time for the little 124 scale Axial SCX24. I almost said SCX10. Anyways, you would wonder because it's easy to mistaken it for one, except for the size factor. So it's 24 scale, which is really tiny. Fits in the palm of your hand, literally. Yeah, fits right on top of my Red Cat truck too, with lots of room to spare. Anyway, so I got this thing for like 150 bucks, free shipping, you know, and there was tax, of course, on the 150. There's a lot of places you can get these. Great Hobbies, Hobby Wholesale, tons of hobby shops have these things, okay? Anyway, so they're great little trucks. I've got one, my wife has one. We both did some video with ours today. Not a whole lot. It was getting late in the day and we had a lot of stuff to do, but I will promise much more longer footage for running footage on these things. But you'll see that we did put them through a few paces that really makes these things shine, to be honest. I mean, I could not believe that this thing can go almost vertical and go straight up a rock side. You know, that was like, wow, you know, that was cool. And even going down, it didn't go, you know, butt over tea kettle type of thing. And it didn't flip backwards too easily either, unless you goosed it. Well, then that's your bad. Suspension is actually pretty good. You know, there's a lot of flex in this thing. You know, quite a bit actually for the size of it. It's not a hobby grade suspension. They're just, you know, shocks that have springs, so there's no oil. So it's, you know, you would think it'd be really springy, but really it's not. Because with the weight when it's on there, and even, you know, driving around, it's good. On surfaces like gravel, asphalt, rocks, of course, the thing is just outstanding. And for where it can get into, places that it can go, is just amazing if you're in the right kind of locations for rock setups. So we really enjoy going to the Cove with these things in North Bay. It's actually a beach, and there's tons and tons of rocks. Like, it would take us like hours and hours to go through them all. Like, there's rocks there that we will not get access to at Deschaney Falls. So we figured, let's go to the Cove, because then we can really put these things to the test. And my buddy Jordan from Jabil Outdoors and his girlfriend or wife, Bailey, she was with us, and she has a red one. Jordan has a green one. My wife has a red one. So the guys have green and the girls have red. And Jordan's thinking about actually changing the color of his, which might not be a bad idea when the four of us are together, because then at least everybody would know who's is whose. But I think I'm going to put my channel sticker on mine regardless. But I got a chance to drive his before I even got mine out on the rocks, because I took my Red Cat Gen 8 out first, and so did my wife, and then we took these little guys out later on. But Jordan timed it on a stopwatch, and it's an hour and a half of runtime on this tiny little battery that's inside, and it's a 2-cell LiPo. So that's really respectable. And you know, when he wipes out on his side, he'll spin the tires and, you know, run the wheels back and forth and try and get back on his feet. So he did waste some battery power doing that, but you know, a lot of guys do. I've done it before myself, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, so you got to go do the walk of shame. But you know, for a small little 2-cell LiPo, this is like 350 milliamp, 30C. The riding time is amazing. You still have an auxiliary area here as well that you can use for channel 3. You've got a secondary, looks like a secondary LED port as well. You know, all the electronics are waterproof, which is great. This little tiny, basically it's a 1S connector, just plugs right into the red port, and you know, fire it up and away you go. Your motor plugs into here. Very simplistic design. But very good. Metal C-channel chassis, also very good. I like the fact that the body can stay on the truck and you can just tilt it back like this. It's hinged. And back here you can mount a micro servo and do a little bit of finagling and make yourself a servo winch for the channel 3. And the channel 3 on the radio is basically a center for off, or you go right or left. So, you know, you got to just figure out which way's in and which way's out if you're going to do a servo winch. Otherwise, you could use it for other things, like who knows, right? Steering tram, dual rates for your steering. This thing also has channel 1, I guess it's N and R, normal and reverse, so reversible. If you wanted to reverse your steering, which is fine. Some people like that way, some people don't. This has a worm gear differential system, and what that basically is, I call it a corkscrew. And so when you stop, and that's it. Like, this thing is not moving. You can have this thing dangling vertical, and it is not going to budge. And it's designed that way, you know. So don't try to manually rotate the tires with your hands, because you're going to break stuff, okay? Worm gears are a complete total lock system, right? They're not like your typical diffs that we're used to. These are totally different. And there are 110 scale size trucks with the same kind of worm gear systems. And they work very well. They're actually better than any drag brake out there, because you get 100% lock. Although the parts are very small and there's a lot of plastic on here, from what I understand, there are up and coming lot of upgrades for this thing, and I'm going to definitely metalize the living daylights out of this thing, because I think it'd be worthwhile doing. So hopefully somebody out there can come up with some much stronger, heavier duty shocks that are actually oil filled to help support the extra weight on there as people make mod parts for these things. Because yeah, you're only going to have so much travel here. Now, it doesn't bounce around like an idiot like you'd think it would, you know, because, you know, you do this and it's got a bit of bounce. It really doesn't do that when it's driving. Tires are just like, they're not foam filled, right? They're very soft, I mean, when you're pressing in on them, but the truck itself, as it sits on the ground, it's like they're fully pumped up normal tires, right? Like, they don't, they're not going to bend and squash on you. The thing only weighs a half a pound. I mean, it's nothing. I do like the radio, though. The radio's very nice. It's like way bigger than the truck, of course. 4 AA batteries go into the bottom here. This thing comes fully ready to run. Like, it comes with everything. So you can just charge up the battery, done. Comes with a USB charger. I have an unboxing video if you want to check that one out. I still haven't figured out how I'm going to mod these lights up top, or if I'm going to or not. I wouldn't mind adding some more lighting on here somewhere. I've got the ability to do it. I just got to figure out how. Maybe I'll just do an underglow kit. I don't know. But I got to tell you, this thing can go darn near vertical and still not go wing, or go downhill almost vertical and it doesn't go wing, as long as you're not being crazy. I mean, this is a trail truck crawler machine, so use accordingly, learn about trigger control, and you will find that this thing is just phenomenal. Even Jordan was just mind blown by the rocks that we went on today, and so was I. Even when I drove his, I was like, wow. Like, I've had this thing running in my yard for you guys, but I hadn't taken it out to the rocks until today. So I did shoot a little bit of video on my channel for running this thing myself, of my own machine. And I gotta tell you, I am so thoroughly impressed with this. For 150 Canadian, this thing is just nuts. And being full hobby grade is like even better. It's cool. I would highly recommend getting one of these things into your collection, or get both, then you have one of each color. That's the only difference too, is the color. There's no other differences. So anyways, me and Jordan both have green, and our wives have the red ones. So that kind of works out. And so I'm going to put my channel sticker on mine just to differentiate the two green ones until he changes his body color, because he said he's going to change the body color anyway. But yeah, this is just, I can't believe this thing is so amazing. Check out his channel. It's Jables Outdoors. Check out my wife's too, Susan Millard. She's going to have footage on her channel too in the next day or so when she gets things done. We both have a lot of other footage to edit yet as well, so I'll probably, you'll have already seen my running video before you actually probably saw this one. Who knows? Depends on which way you picked things out in the search bar. But definitely worth every penny in my books. Any upgrades that are out there are going to definitely be done to this thing, because I know the parts aren't going to cost me a ton load of money either, which is kind of nice. It's 1/24 scale. I am considering a sound kit though, because the Orlando, which is a very much smaller truck, they have a sound kit for it, and that sound kit will fit in this thing. So I'm thinking about picking that up and throwing that in here, and that should be pretty cool. So we'll have to see what happens over the next probably month and a half. Now, its biggest strengths are asphalt, of course, rocks, gravel. Goes through sand pretty good. Not like deep sand, but you know, like just sandy surfaces. Haven't really been able to do anything with mud, but I don't think it would be that good of a mud bogger unless it's really super shallow mud like really super shallow. And even at that, it might be kind of crabby. Definitely does not like grass. They hate grass. They flip over, or they just get stuck on, you know, a couple of tall blades of grass, and they'll flip themselves or just spin the tires. So don't try taking this thing out on the grass because it's completely useless. Now, these things do have a 3-speed electronic transmission, so you've got low gear, as they call it, or wow, not low gear, but low speed, medium speed, and high. Now, I tried to crawl a rock face on low, and I was giving it for all I was worth, and the low speed, great on flat surfaces or going downhill with, but trying to go up on a steep surface, forget it. You have to be in either medium or high gear. And the high gear is basically like not much quicker, like very much not quicker at all than a regular walking pace. So you can definitely keep up to this thing and, you know, keep it on full throttle and almost walk beside it. I think top speed somebody tested this thing was like 2 miles per hour. I think humans walk about that or quicker. Most of us walk quicker. I know I do. But yes, definitely a truck worth looking into, whether it's for a kid or for an adult. Definitely. These are hobby grade though. These are not toys. They are full hobby grade machines, so keep that in mind. If you break it, you can fix it. They do have replacement parts. And there will definitely be a lot of upgrade parts coming on the market. I'm sure it'll be flooded soon. Because these things are gaining a lot of momentum on YouTube, on many RC channels. It's just crazy, and I can see why. This thing just it can compete with the bigger trucks on the same terrain, and of course, being so small, it can go through little areas that they'll never get through. So sometimes a smaller machine is a lot more fun, and it is fun for the challenge too. You know, where some of our bigger machines would just walk up something without thinking, and you know, you're like, I got a challenge. It's challenging me, and I'm shaking like this, and I'm spinning my tires, but I'm slowly gaining, and I'm gaining. I'm slipping, and then I'm gaining, and then up and over you go, and it's like, yes! Now, with a 110 machine, you'd be like, pull the trigger really super light, and it just walks. That can get boring. This is exciting. You know, which is what we all found, that these little things are very exciting because they are also very challenging compared to all the bigger rigs that we've all been driving for years now. You know, so this thing is a hoot to have fun with, especially on the large rock surfaces. It's really cool. And in the winter time too, even though this thing's waterproof, it's going to be very useless in the winter unless you're like on ice with a little bit of snow surface. We'll see, maybe I'll take it for a spin in the driveway or something if it's clean enough, and see if we can get anywhere. But the winter's a long way away, I hope. You know, we're only in June right now, so, but it is Canada, you never know. But I think that this should be in all of our collections, at least a minimum of one of them in your collection. But even the red one looks pretty awesome too, you know. Same truck, just red. I've been looking into upgrade batteries too, but you get an hour and a half of runtime out of this little battery. That's pretty good for a good time crawling out on the rocks, you know. So, but it does have an 88 turn motor in it as well. Very small motor, but very torquey. Which is the nice thing about this worm drive system, is it is very torquey. And of course, no movement when you're on a surface. So if you're even going down a surface like this, you could just let go of your trigger and it'll stay there, you know, and not even think about moving, because it can't. It can only move when under power. This geared system is not designed to move unless it's under power. It's the whole point to the whole system, other than the fact that it's got beautiful, perfect lockup for, you know, a drag brake, if you'd call it that. I call it just straight brakes because, you know, it ain't moving. But anyway, overall, 4.5 stars out of 5 is where I'm sitting with this little thing. It's really cool. The USB charger is great too. You can plug it into your car. You can recharge the battery within 20 minutes to a half an hour, which is great for that hour and a half of runtime that you'll get. Extra batteries are not that expensive, you know, so you can go and buy extra regular packs for it. So if you want to be out all day long and go crawl king happy, just bring a few spare battery packs and your charger, or just bring your charger and have a 30-minute break, you know, and then go play again. It's kind of like up to you at that point. But yeah, pretty cool. I really, like I said, I really love this truck. My wife loves hers too. Jabel and his wife, they love theirs. Like Jordan was so ecstatic when he was crawling these rocks. It was like, it's almost like a little kid at Christmas, you know? And I agree. I was feeling the same way. And I actually drove his first before I even drove mine on the rocks. And I just couldn't believe how well this thing did. I was just like, huh? You know, because you wouldn't think a 124 could handle what these things went through. So go check out Jabel's Outdoors. I don't know when he'll have his footage on, but keep an eye on his channel for it, because he's going to have some really epic footage on there. I will have more better footage on my channel eventually. We just didn't get a lot of time today ourselves. We took our Red Cats out first when they were out with their little trucks, and then we ended up taking out our little trucks later on in the day. So, you know, we didn't get a whole lot of footage, but we did get some pretty good stuff, I think, even for short videos. But yeah, check them out. Just wonderful, just awesome little machines. So thanks for watching, guys, and do stay tuned. I have more videos for RC coming. This whole summer is going to be, and for the next longest time, is going to be a lot of RC going on the channel. A lot. So I'm sure that'll make all my RC fans ecstatically happy, because it's been so long. But there we go. So thanks again, and we'll catch you on the next one.